This is Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're here on Xbox Series S. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is the most recent entry in the long-running Assassin's Creed franchise, and this takes place in the vein of the massive open-world Assassin's Creed games that kicked off with Origins, continued with Odyssey, and then most recently had Valhalla, which was actually quite many years ago. And now we have Assassin's Creed Shadows, which takes the series to Japan, which was a highly anticipated and highly sought-after area for the franchise to go. Some say they took too long. I think it was about the right time to deliver on that sort of an experience. So here for the Series S, we're definitely seeing more and more of the limitations of the console as the generation continues to go on. We're going to dive into the technical details, the one limited graphical performance mode that's available for this platform, and just sort of what you're getting when it comes to playing Assassin's Creed Shadows on the smaller Xbox Series platform, the experience and everything in between. So in the game, you're playing as dual protagonists. You've got Naomi and Yuzukai, and basically she is the traditional Assassin's Creed assassin, where you will go about aiming to do stealth, stabbing people with your special blade, whereas Yuzukai, he's more of a bull in a china shop, running through everybody, smashing people, and not able to do the traditional Creed stylings of stealth or jumping into the hay bale. He does not have that sort of a thing. Her story is a tale of revenge and revenge. Lots of revenge. You go around stabbing a lot of people as her. She's not very happy. And then there's nuance to it, but
I need a closer look.
yeah, she's definitely not thrilled about the situations that have been happening to her and her people. And then Yazuka is a little bit more of a story of, I guess you'd say almost redemption, or a story of trying to figure out what's happening. The first act of the game is largely focused on Naomi as she deals with the her backstory, the build-up of revenge. You do that in many interesting ways: tea parties, stabbing people, taking out whole families, everything like that. She's pretty ruthless. And then the second act is Yuzukai getting flashbacks to his sort of training, how he is a new perspective, basically a fish out of water setup, where he's trying to figure out how everything works, and he kind of gets given everything in terms of like, lots of people seem to really like him. There's obviously some people causing some problems for him, but he fits right into the place. He gets all these great promotions, and that works his way up pretty quickly, which is quite fascinating to see as far as like Japanese culture and all that. That kind of works for that era. It's quite fascinating, as you do really get to dive in and enjoy all these little kind of cultural bits. Like for Naomi here, you kind of attend tea parties and you set up sort of the drawings, the intricate lettering and everything of the culture. It's quite cool. It really is. Like, this game has an incredible amount of depth and detail to it. Gameplay wise, like, they really filled this to the brim with action style and everything in between. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a context between the two perspectives and the characters. It's just also really, really quite interesting, because you could practically play like your regular experiences. You could basically play any moment where you're going around and, the open world, enjoying it. You can play as whoever you want. You can be Naomi, you can be Yuzukai, but there are specific parts of story and gameplay where you are playing as one character or the other character, as you kind of see their perspective and you build up a bit of a squad. The game focuses on basically kind of creating a bit of a team. You have a hideout where it's a real-time strategy, kind of like city builder, which is kind of neat, like a top-down city builder, and it's actually quite fascinating. And it's like a whole backbone part of the game that you almost don't think about enough when you're doing other stuff in the world. It's quite cool. So yeah, let's dive and talk about the technical details here. So for Series S, there's one game mode. You have just the one. They're calling it like a fidelity thing. So this is an experience where it upscales to 1620p. Now, the internal resolution seems like, from what I was kind of getting, sub 1080p. Like sub 1080p. Like it is blurrier than the performance mode for Series X. It looks like and that one's sub 1080, and then also it's 30 FPS. There is ray traced illumination if you are in the hideout, specifically just the hideout of the game, which is of course the city building portion, so I don't know why they bothered that. I guess otherwise, well, I guess specifically I can add ray tracing to the title of the game just because it's in a very tiny part of it, but yeah, so it does seem like we are, as I said at the beginning of the video, really starting to see the limitations of what the Series S can do. At this point in the generation, it is most certainly, like, I don't think you could necessarily achieve 60 FPS with this console on this game. I just don't think it's really viable, because it is a very technically demanding game. It's expansive, it's filled to the brim with detail and visuals and effects and things going on, and you can definitely tell that, like, well, the full scale of it's all here on the Series S. They certainly had to tone down the quality and just the level of detail on everything. It is a bit it's a bit rough around the edges. It still runs perfectly fine as far as, you know, 30 FPS and stuff goes, but I do think it leaves a little bit to be desired from a performance standpoint, since we were able to achieve that with previous Assassin's Creed games of this scale on this current generation. But yeah, I still think it's definitely showing some aging for the console for sure. HDR support too. But yeah, this game is genuinely quite impressive. It is massive, and it is filled to the brim with gameplay and different ways to experience and fight and engage with the world around you. The story is... you probably spend hundreds of hours playing this game, honestly. Like, the main things would be dozens and dozens of hours. There's level gapping, so you do have to, like... You know, if you're just wanting to do a shoot through the story, that's not possible. There are different levels of difficulty as well, but that's still all kind of level gated. And you're basically going to have to make your way through the game, kind of improving yourself, doing side content, activities, and exploring, you know, an expansive world that's filled with secrets, side missions, side adventures, and everything in between. This game is genuinely quite impressive. Like, it is a massive game. Like, it's hard to really tell you just how big this game is, just because it is so insanely impressive. Is there no faster way out of here? Like, this is the quickest way, eh? I should have not ran through this whole place. Yeah, other than that, the game does have a couple settings in terms of engagement. So you can play the game in the traditional way, but that does limit some achievement progress, which seems to be kind of based around centuries, I guess, like as far as like scouts. Or you can do it in the current way. And the current way is based around the idea of you have to figure out where people are. So it's like, okay, so this person is south of this, west of this, it's in this area. And you have to find them, whereas the traditional way is you go here, you do this, you do that. I was like, oh, the new way is kind of neat, and then after, like, you know, time spending 15 minutes or so kind of, like, exploring and not finding something, and then, you know, kind of being like, oh, it was right beside me the whole time, I was like, wow, this is not respectful of my time. I'm just gonna go back to the other way of doing things, but some people will really like it. I just was kind of like, wow, I do not care for this option. I just want to know where I'm going and what I'm doing. Like right here, I feel very confused, but that's because I was trying to do a side thing to go grab that chest over there. I'm just going to get out of here so we can show off more of the game. I'm totally getting sidetracked with this little side adventure, and that's kind of the beauty of the game, is you just spend dozens upon dozens of hours you know, doing side things, exploring caves, fighting people, exploring massive, awesome castles. But every single part of this game is just filled to the brim with detail and aesthetic and design. It's very, very well done. Like, this is a genuinely impressive offering within the Assassin's Creed franchise. And I think, basically, you're supposed to swing from place to place, my dear. And I think most people will find this to be a genuinely impressive Assassin's Creed game, like, you will really love exploring and
Time to go.
discovering things and fighting off various enemies and enjoying the culture of the area too. Oh, I got an achievement for that. Wow, that is kind of surprising. My first coven, which I guess is like a cave thing. Oh, cool. See? Still exploring new things. Game is ridiculously large. No, seriously, like, I wish I wish I had more time to really work through it, was kind of the biggest thing, because it is just such a mammoth of a task playing this and trying to, like, work through it in any sort of a timely way. I was kind of hoping that would be, Area's not available yet? Yeah, I was thinking it's a quest thing for this. Okay, well, how do I get through this if I don't have any of the, oh, I do have them, okay. Anyways, so yeah, you kind of have your two multiple characters. I'm trying to get out of here so that I can show you the other character, but this is a very, very expansive little side game I was doing. But the world really is filled to the brim with different, like, locations and aesthetics and ways to tackle it, and shifting day and nights and rain and inclement weather. But at any point, as long as it's not a mission thing, you basically can switch over between characters, and they have different skill trees and different challenges and different things that they do, and different adventures that they kind of go on along the way while still being in a similar setup. It's really, really genuinely quite neat, the two angles and setups. She's stealth, he's a bull in a china shop just smashing through things. He's a large presence, and everything in the game loads up fast, of course, as you expect. Still, it's a little bit of the traditional loading thing, but yeah, this game is big. Like, you could just spend... I think my joke on the Series X video review for this was basically, like, I could probably spend 3 hours going through, like, a video review of this game, and I still would barely touch the surface of it. And everything is just filled with, like, little particle effects, plants, creatures, things going on. Story, side story, characters to meet, maybe a little bit of romance here or there, some twists, some turns, some action, and then you're just killing, like, whole bloodlines and stuff too. You have different people and different little crews that you have to eliminate and assassinate over the course of your game. It's really, really quite amazing, the level of detail that they've put into this. If you're a fan of, say, you know, the big Assassin's Creed games, if this is an experience that you don't really want to end, you want to keep adventuring and exploring and killing and spending countless hours doing the traditional Assassin's Creed gameplay, this is the perfect game for you. You will endlessly find activities and adventures and challenges and things to engage with. And it's very, very impressive. No, seriously, like, this game is a technical treat. if you get what I mean. Like, it really is. Every little part of it's so fun and engaging and interesting, and it's neat because you'd go in and you do, like, a quest and be like, okay, do you want to do this part as Naoi? Do you want to do it as Ezekai? And I'd be like, well, I need to, like, bulldoze and take out these guys, so I'm gonna use, you know, this dude. He's tough, he smashes through things. Or if I wanted to approach with a bit of stealth, that was another option there as well. And yeah, they kind of nailed the whole part of this, like, the cities, the challenges within those cities. This also has the backbone of the new Creed, kind of like Infinity Animus thing, so it's like, you basically load it and you'd be like, oh, here's all the different Creed games, and that's a whole part of the backbone of this. Like, it really is quite a marvelous, impressive, technical game. Seriously, like, it is amazing. Now, Series S, obviously, you know, if you're expecting a super high frame rate and stuff, you're just not going to get that on this platform anymore in the gen. But no, it's still really good here. I love the setup of it. I think you will genuinely appreciate this game. It's a game that it feels like we've been asking for Assassin's Creed in Japan for a long time. That was really poor of me. I wanted to do my slash attack, and it just wasn't doing it. Like, this is a game that a lot of people, I think, have been wanting and desiring for a long time. And, yeah, they could have done it a lot sooner. But I do think now is actually the perfect time for Assassin's Creed Japan, because they really can nail every inch of this game. That was a thing that I found rather interesting when I was playing, like, say, Odyssey and stuff like that. Is like, yeah, those games are genuinely impressive. Like, they are filled with activities, they go on and on and on. The extra DLC stuff just takes it to a higher level. But there's always something about them where it's like, a lot of it was kind of just empty, you know, kind of bland worlding and stuff. And it really does feel like every single inch of this absolutely ridiculously large game is just filled with content. Like, if you are an Assassin's Creed fan, you will absolutely be floored by the gameplay style of it. I think if you're sort of, like, not really into that usual Ubisoft formula, though, you will find, like, you know, the level gaps, the forced questing, the gear stuff, and it is very much your traditional open-world Ubisoft kind of game from that perspective. But the love and the detail here is so impressive that, like, it really is quite an amazing feat for Assassin's Creed, for the franchise. Yeah, they did a really good job on this one. And then, of course, the different weapons the two use are really interesting. You know, we've got a guy here that embraces some modern stuff, such as guns, like the Teppo kind of thing, which doesn't work in the rain. Totally forgot about that. Of course, it's too wet. And then you've got one that is like a traditional assassin. And you play off of those styles, you play off of that gameplay, you level up, you gather tools, weapons, you explore places, you meet tons and tons of characters, and you just go on a wild Assassin's Creed adventure. I wish it wasn't so dark and miserable, but it kind of sets the visual tone a little bit of the game too. Like, it is... Yeah, you got beautiful places, and there's seasons too. It's a game where the environment changes, and time goes by, and things happen, and you explore and adventure, and it really is, it's what you make it, is the biggest thing. Like, if you are looking for that next massive open world Assassin's Creed game, Shadows is absolutely that. And it is probably... Like, it definitely is. It's the most polished Creed game they've ever put together. It really is. Like, it's a breath of fresh air how well everything is set up here, and just how crazy big this game is. It's honestly a little excessively large. I sit there, I go through some of the areas, and I was like, wow, you know, like all the citizens moving around, the large sprawling cities, the wild winding castles. It's so impressive in, like, the best of ways. It doesn't also necessarily escape the confines of the traditional Ubisoft game that I think some people are maybe getting a little tired of, like I was with Avatar there, but I think they do some new things with it. I think they change things up in exciting ways. I do believe this one will surprise you. If you like Creed and you've been wanting a little bit more of a flavor, a little bit different, you've been waiting forever for a Japanese set place, like a Japan-oriented location for Creed, it just makes sense to do it in this region, right? Like, the series just sort of fits in there, but yeah, there's the sprawling, endless trees and of activities and enemies to kill and enemies to fight and things to do. It's ridiculous. You will have your hands full, and then you also do, like, the city building kind of hideout building stuff, and then there's all these other enemies and all these different secondary events, and yeah, it's not really a game that you easily kind of finish. It will take your time, but it will provide you some unforgettable Creed moments, action, combat, so many things to see, so many things to do. I think you'll absolutely love it, and it plays very well, and it looks great here on the Series S. Obviously, it would have been nice to have a higher frame rate option, but I think this is pushing the console to the limits.